Hey everybody, welcome back. You might recognize this thing. This is the Frugal Cage, and if you don't know what the Frugal Cage is, it's an inexpensive cage rig that I built a while ago out of flash brackets. And as you can see here, you put your camera in the middle of it, and it is then surrounded by 1/4 20 mounting points that allow you to attach all kinds of accessories to. And I have had attached a lot of stuff already to this in previous videos. You've seen external power, and an external monitor, and a follow focus, and all kinds of stuff. And I'll leave all links still below in the description. But if you're curious how to make this thing, it'll cost you about $40. And I suggest you watch the original Frugal Cage video, as well as Frugal Cage fixes, followed by the review of these 1/4 20 knobs right here, which are extra large. They give you an easy grip, and they are basically upgrades to the original knobs, but now they are part of the basic system here. So this thing has evolved a little bit into a 2.0 version, and I recently resolved two major problems the rig had that I thought I'd share with you today, as well as a suggestion that will make it even more flexible depending on what size camera you have. Okay, the first problem I had was that I couldn't access the battery bay. Now if you notice right here, when I try to open the battery bay, the camera is so low in the rig that the battery bay door strikes the rig and won't open fully. So if I wanted to take my battery out, I really can't because there's no room, not enough room to do it. And the SD card is even worse because it's further back here and would strike the battery bay door before I can get the whole thing out. So that was a problem, even though you might say, well, just pull the camera out and do that. Well, that's true. That's easy unless you have a lot of junk attached to this thing, like a follow focus gear and a follow focus external monitor and all these things make it a real hassle to have to pull the camera out, detach the cables, replace the battery, replace the SD card. Now, I've solved the battery issue because I created external power in a previous video. You may have seen that. But the SD card was still a problem, so I had to raise this camera up somehow. So I ended up taking a second quick release plate right here and base, and I attached the quick release plate on the bottom of the base, and then put both of these in the first quick release system. So it raised it up a little bit, and even though this looks like it's backwards, because it is, because the release lever would interfere with the first one, so I had to invert them. Now when I put the camera in, it's raised up high enough where I can easily open the door here and access the battery if I need to, comes all the way out, and access the SD card if I need to, comes all the way out. They are equally easy to replace, and you're ready to keep shooting. Now the next problem I had was that this top bracket could not be raised to accommodate larger cameras or even my finger now when I want to hit the shutter release to get out of menus or go from digitally punching in to check focus back to live view. I can't really do it because my finger can't fit. So I need to be able to raise up this top bracket, which I wasn't able to do before without losing 2 points of contact to secure it. Before I had one point of contact down here and then one point right about here. So because it was down here at the very bottom, I wasn't able to raise this up at all without losing the second point, meaning the whole thing could swivel back and forth. It was too much weight, not a good idea. So I ended up drilling and tapping a hole at this point right here, which was actually to separate the older battery system that I had in battery cradles, which would allow me to more easily change the batteries. But since I threw that system out, I didn't need it. But however, by putting a threaded knob up here and then moving the second one up to this point, I now have this much space with which I can raise this top bracket right here and secure it down on 2 points, so that there's no way that thing is going to swivel forward or back now because it's fastened securely at 2 points. And what this allows me to do is now easily adjust the system right above my finger so that I can easily get to the shutter release without any problem. Now if you're wondering how I did that, how I tapped and drilled that hole, check out the Frugal Cage fixes video. That'll make it more clear. Okay, now the final thing I want to suggest involves this side arm right here, which is attached to the bottom bracket. Now in the original version of this bracket was actually attached at the back of this channel right here to the back of this channel or the side of this channel on the bottom bracket, like so. But I recommend that if you can, move it forward. And if you have a smaller camera, you're probably more likely to do this than a larger camera, because I don't know if you have the space if you have a larger camera. But all you do is you take your 1/4 20 knob right here and you put it through this individual hole right here that I just put a neoprene washer on it right there. And I attached it like so, because there are threads at the end of this channel, and so I can put it right in. And what this does is a couple things. Actually, it provides a barrier as close to your camera as possible to protect you against things like your external monitor hitting the back of your camera, because I have an external monitor. And this actually, the most it does is protect my camera, which I appreciate. The second thing it does is extend this channel as far out in front of the lens area as possible. This is where the follow focus is attached. If you don't know how to do that, you can check the video, cheap follow focus. But it also offers a threaded hole at the end of the channel right here. And what I plan on doing with this is attaching this 7-inch magic arm like so. And that gives me the ability to do several things, such as add a lens support, teleprompter, and a matte box. And I'm going to show you how to do all those things in the future, but because this is as far out in front of the lens as possible, it just makes it that much easier to do all the things I just said, depending on the size of your lens. So I highly recommend you do that if you can. Again, if your camera's too big, you might not be able to, but I recommend you do that, which was different than the original version. So that's what I suggest. So that's been the Frugal Cage 2.0. If you like this project, please come to thefrugalfilmmaker.com for more. I hope this helps you out if you're building the Frugal Cage. And thanks for watching.